road, I'm picking up whatever's mine. I'm running down a drink that never would come to me, working on a mystery, going wherever it leads. I'm running down a drink. Yeah, I'm running down a drink that never would come to me, working on a mystery, going wherever it leads. I'm running down a drink.
Alright, how's everybody doing so far? Good. Well, we got perfect weather for a flight out to Molokai. We're finally getting our trade winds back, which brought the rain and gives us waterfalls. It was getting kind of dry out here for the last couple weeks, but last couple days we've had a lot of rain. So we got 1,000-foot waterfalls waiting for us over on Molokai, and some nice ones here on Maui too. We're going to check out the Waihe'e Valley first, which sits here in front of us. The wettest valley on this island. The back of the valley gets almost 400 inches of annual rainfall. All that rain's got to go somewhere too, so it'll seep underground into these aquifers that leak. So if you look closely at the canyon walls back here, you'll see the water just seeping off the side of the mountain. In front of us we have the Keyhole Waterfall. It's called, they call it back here, it looks like the water drops into a keyhole shape at the very bottom of the valley. The one on the left is 900 feet tall. That's why you get your water when you turn on your faucets too. Even though Manakahalivai only makes, this part of the island only makes up 25% of the total land mass, 90% of the people living or visiting the island get their water from all these aquifers here in West Maui. And if you look down there in the bottom of the valley, you can see there's lots of tall trees and pretty thick forest, but up on these ridge lines and plateaus, there's no more tall trees, and that's because of the wind. I mentioned we have our trade winds back. It's a good 30 miles an hour on the North Shore today, which is pretty average. That'll reach close to 50 over these mountain passes as the wind accelerates through these little wind tunnels. Over time, that'll knock down any tree over like 5 feet tall. And you'll feel that a little bit over the next couple miles as we fly over some of these ridge lines. We'll catch a little rougher air and then it'll smooth out a little bit for us once we get down towards the coastline. below us, you could see, if you look down the bottom of the valleys, the very bottom, they're basically riverbeds down there. Very rugged terrain at the bottom of these canyons. That's why you can't really hike to those waterfalls in West Maui, is because of the rugged terrain. Any heavy rain shower, which could come quickly, will wash out any trail or road or anybody down there. So a gain of elevation of over 3,000 feet from the front of the valley to the back of the valley. And you'll see these pine trees and evergreens down here. These were planted as a future resource. They planted them so we can be a little more self-sufficient someday. Right now we import like an incredible amount of lumber into Hawaii, but someday we'll have a little bit more of our own. We'll be a little more self-sufficient out there. Alright, we're going to leave West Maui now, go across the Pailolo Channel. We got 10 miles of water between the two islands, so it'll take us less than 5 minutes to get across that channel. As we cross, you guys keep your eyes peeled for humpback whales. We saw some on our very first flight this morning, none since. Most of them are still making their way down to Hawaii from Alaska. But you never know, keep your eyes peeled, and we'll be over there in Molokai in just over 4 minutes now.
Against me, and gravity wants to bring me down. Oh, I'll never know what makes this man, with all the love that his heart can stand. Dream of ways to throw it all away. Whoa, whoa. Gravity is working against me, and gravity wants to bring me down.
Now, as we get closer to Molokai, you guys are going to see a sparsely populated island out there. Not too many people live on Molokai. They only have 7,000 residents. Back on Maui, we get 150,000 residents, and there's more visitors than residents year-round. And it's no accident. They just have a lot of restrictions on the development of the land. They're trying to keep the island more locally owned. Back on Maui, all the hotels and resorts are owned by off-island companies from around the world. So most of the revenue disappears, but Molokai, they're keeping it local. So you won't have the fancy places, you have bed and breakfasts, smaller hotels. It's like old Hawaii, like going back in time when you visit Molokai.
Oh, twice as much ain't twice as good, and can't sustain like one half could. It's wanting more. It's gonna send me to my knees. Whoa, whoa. Gravity, stay the hell away from me. Whoa, whoa. Gravity has taken better men than me. How can that be? Just keep me where the light is. Just keep me where the light is.
You look out in front of us, this whole corner of the island that you see first is all one big cattle ranch. Most people don't think of cowboys and cattle ranches when they think of Hawaii. But there's a lot of them out here because we get year-round rain, warm temperatures. Grass grows like crazy. You get a lot of grass-fed beef in Hawaii. So the paniolo, that's the Hawaiian cowboy, is a big part of the local culture in Hawaii. Like lots of places to ride horses, rodeos on all the islands. Once we get past this old cattle ranch, we'll drop into the Halawa Valley and we'll check out the first waterfalls of Molokai.
In the dark, and I'm right on the middle mark. Just in the tear of everything that rides below the surface. And I watch from a distant 17, short of the others' dreams of being golden and on top. It's not what you painted in my head. So much there instead of all the colors that I saw. We are living in a dream, but life ain't what it seems. Everything's a mess, and all these sorrows I have seen, they lead me to believe everything's a mess. But I wanna dream, leave me to dream. In the eyes of a teenage crystallized, oh, the prettiest of lights that hang the hallways of the home. And the cries from the strangers out at night, they don't keep us up at night. We have the curtains drawn and closed. We are living in a dream, but life ain't what it seems. Oh, everything's a mess, and all these sorrows I have seen, they lead me to believe everything's a mess. But I wanna dream, leave me to dream.
In front of us we have the world's tallest sea cliffs. Molokai here is one of the smaller Hawaiian islands, you could say, but it's got the tallest and steepest cliffs on the planet. Geologists say it's because of an earthquake. They think a massive earthquake hit this island a long time ago, like literally dropped a third of the island off into the ocean. So hopefully that doesn't happen again, but whatever caused it, we got big cliffs. This will be a 2,000-foot drop-off here below us. front of us is Papala'ua Falls. This waterfall in here is a 1,400-foot waterfall. That's the size of the Empire State Building, this waterfall. We'll do a turn here by the shoreline so you can get a view of the whole waterfall, take it all in, then we'll come in for a close-up here in just a minute. Off of our left side, you guys are going to see this big, massive valley. It's called the Wailau Valley, and there's several people that live in this valley. There's no electricity or roads or anything. The only way in and out of that valley is by boat or helicopter. And you cannot even keep a boat parked here for most of the year because of the heavy surf you get on the North Shore. So there's people living in that rainforest, pretty much hunting and farming and fishing for most of the year. And if you look out in the distance in front of us, a couple miles, you'll see the Kalaupapa Peninsula. That's where the land stretches out into the ocean. That's where the old leprosy colony was in the past. Leprosy was once a criminalized disease in Hawaii. If you had leprosy on any of the islands, you'd be taken from your family, legally pronounced dead, and quarantined on that peninsula. It was like a jail. But they found a cure for leprosy eventually. Now that peninsula is a historic national park and a rainforest preserve. And then off our left here, this is where the sea cliffs are their tallest point. 3,000-foot tall cliffs disappearing into the clouds, tallest cliffs on the planet. valleys over here on Molokai, they're deeper and wider than any of the valleys over on Maui, and that's because this is an older volcano, so more time has passed for rain and erosion to wash away the valleys. Every time it rains, the island gets a little bit smaller and the valleys get a little bit bigger. The older the volcano, the bigger the valley. If you look at these cliffs where there's less vegetation, you'll see all these horizontal lines, like all these layers of rock. Those are all the old lava flows that built the volcano in the past. It's like a timeline of all the old eruptions. Kind of like a tree. Cut open a tree, you get a ring for each year. Cut open a volcano, you get a layer of rock for each eruption. And that goes another 18,000 feet deep below sea level before you get to your first lava flow that started it all. So it took a long time. It took a lot of eruptions to make this one volcano. We have 132 Hawaiian islands, some with multiple volcanoes, all created this way. It's still going on over on the Big Island where Kilauea is erupting on our youngest island, making the Big Island even bigger. Still making layers in Hawaii. Side here you can see Halawa Bay, and that's the end of the coastal highway of Molokai. That's where they found the oldest Polynesian artifacts in all of Hawaii, dating back to 700 AD. See, these valleys here in Molokai are deep and wide, so you can live in the valleys, live right by the river. And then as we leave the north shore of Molokai, you'll see Turtle Rock out there at our 1 o'clock position. Looks like a sea turtle from the side. That's a famous scuba diving site for hammerhead sharks. We're out there in some of the sharks.
and found your whole world inside of one road town. Take me back, take me back, take me back, take me back to you. Sometimes I think about life was so simple back then. We'd run around, no shoes, just some cane field blues. No thought to of us round the bend. Sheets filled with sand and secrets in the band. And sometimes I wonder if it's all a dream. Another green flash playing tricks on me, but I know deep inside I'm still alive.
As we leave the North Shore of Molokai too, right now we can see all of Maui County. We got Maui in front of us, Molokai. We're leaving Lanai is off our right side, and then that's Kaho'olawe. You can make out that outline of Kaho'olawe way out in the distance. So we got 4 of these islands, and they're relatively close together, and there's relatively shallow water between these islands. So geologists say that's a sign this is a sunken island. They think Maui was the size of the Big Island a long time ago. But over time, the island sunk, water filled up the lower lying area, and this is what we got now. But it's all we ask. Hawaiians have a creation myth about Maui. They say instead that none of the islands are here to start. And then this kid was fishing with a magic fishing line, caught the island of Maui, which is underwater, and he's pulling it up out of the water. The line broke and left the island partially submerged. So geologists say Maui sunk, and they call it Maui County. Hawaiians call it Maui Nui, or Big Maui, and they say it never came out all the way. So either way, it's up to you guys, really.
Spend all day at the beach, shore brain fishing in sunburned cheeks. Take me back, take me back, take me back, take me back to you. Oh no, take me back, take me back, take me back, take me back to you. Remember getting lost and found your whole world inside of one road town. Set your mind at ease to the tropical breeze and Uncle playing slacky. We used to spend all day at the beach, shore break fishing in sunburned cheeks. Take me back, take me back, take me back, take me back to you. One road. Take me back, take me back, take me back.
If you look down at this water, you'll see it's a pretty rough channel of water. There are lots of white caps and rough seas. That's why they call it the Pailolo Channel. It's a wind tunnel, basically. You got 5,000 foot West Maui Mountains with Kamakau Volcano on the other side, where Molokai sits is 4,000 feet, so the wind has to accelerate, squeeze between these islands. And it makes for this rough water. Paia means fisherman, Lolo means you're not very smart. It's the channel of the dumb fisherman, basically. You're not seeing too many fishing boats out here in the Pailolo Channel. Not when we have our trade winds, at least. And out there about our 1 o'clock position, if you look on the coastline of Maui, you'll see the Kapalua Plantation Golf Course. A world famous golf course because it's part of the PGA Tour. But they call it the Plantation Course because it's built on an old pineapple plantation. This was all pineapple fields, pretty much as far as you can see on both sides of the coastline, both sides of that golf course. But big, like, plantations for export, focus on one thing like pineapples or sugar cane or coffee. All that's really on the decline because it's so expensive to ship anything, export anything, 3,000 miles in the middle of the Pacific here. So now what we do have a lot of agriculture, but it's more a wide variety of different things, and less of it's exported, more of it stays in the state. So less is getting shipped out, and less is getting shipped in as well. But it's pretty cool. There's some hiking trails near that golf course. If you're real adventurous, you can hike up into the mountains. You'll come across these fields of pineapples, and still have wild pineapples growing. This is all old pineapple country out here in Kapalua. fly along these sea cliffs over here on Maui, you're going to see they're not as big as they are on Molokai, but they're a little more colorful. The sea cliffs in front of us are real red in color from high iron levels. Iron will rust over time, turn red like that. Just to the right of the red sea cliffs, you'll see a little band of olivine. That's that yellow-greenish color. There'll be a little strip of that just above the water line. And they're more accessible, these cliffs. You can drive right along these sea cliffs. This is called the Kahakili Highway. Highway 340 is the number for it. You can hike down the tide pools, little hidden beach over there off our right side, Punalao Beach. And there's blowholes too, underwater caves get compressed with water pressure. Water can shoot up through cracks in lava rock, like 70 feet tall in some of these areas. So more of a accessible coastal highway out here, the Kahakili Highway is called. So if you look down the coast a little ways, you guys can see about our 1 o'clock position, this real famous landmark to the Hawaiians. We kind of follow the coastline and pick out the tallest point on the North Shore. That's Kahakaloa Rock. And that's a famous landmark to the Hawaiians because of King Kahakili. King Kahakili, he ruled Maui back in the mid-1700s. And back then, these islands were like different countries. They had their own kings and armies. King Kahakili wanted to conquer other islands, take over more territories. The kings in Hawaii, if there's a battle or a war, they'd have to fight too. They'd have to lead the charge. So he'd argue if he could prove somehow that he was invincible and brave, that they should follow him into battle. According to legend, he'd jump off of this 600-foot tall rock and clear the obstacles below and safely fall into the water, swim to shore, and that's how he proved his invincibility and convinced the island to go to war. Supposedly he did that many times before battles with Molokai, Lanai, and Oahu. He controlled the center of the island chain. For a little while, he turned out to be mortal, after all, and King Kamehameha would conquer the whole island chain. Kahakili, he's like Maui's most famous king. Supposedly jumped off this tall rock and then led the armies into battle. The road you'll see goes right by the rock. That's why they call it the Kahakili Highway, named after the old cliff diver. Head back towards Kahaluu, you're going to see this coastline transition. We have these sea cliffs because of the deep water offshores creating these caves that you'll see. The caves cave in. Sections of cliff will fall off into the sea over time. As we get back towards Kahului, the water gets more shallow. When you have shallow water, the sunlight gets down to the bottom of the ocean, grows the coral, and you get white sandy beaches. All depends on your water depth. That's what shapes the coastline so far. Check out some of the bigger waves and maybe even some sea life as we head back in towards these coral reefs and back towards the airport. Before we do land, I do want to thank you guys for coming out flying with me. I don't get to go flying without you guys. They don't let me out by myself, so thanks for getting in here so we can all get up in the air. And then once we land, just sit tight, wait for Drew and Kat to help you out of the aircraft. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks a lot.
Life's too short to even care at all. I'm losing my mind, losing my mind, losing control. These fishes in the sea, they're staring at me. A wet world aches for a beat of a drum. If I could find a way to see this straight, I'd run away to some fortune that I should have found by now. I'm waiting for this cough syrup to come down, come down. Life's too short to even care at all. I'm coming up now out of the blue. These zombies in the park, they're looking for my heart. A dark world aches for a splash of the sun. If I could find a way to see this straight, I'd run away to some fortune that I should have found by now. And so I run out to the things they say could restore me, restore life the way it should be. I'm waiting for this cough syrup to come down. Life's too short to even care at all. I'm losing my mind, losing my mind, losing control. If I could find a way to see this straight, I'd run away to some fortune that I should have found by now. Seems I've got to have a chance to see you. Every night I have a stranger's dream. Imprisoned by the way I could have been left you on my own arm. So it seems I've got to leave before I start to scream. For some locked the door and took the key. You're feeling alright.
right. Thanks again, guys, for coming out and flying with me. Thank you. Just sit tight here. We're going to shut down the helicopter once the rotor blades come to a stop. We'll all get out together.
I just can't waste my time. I must get by. Gotta stop and leave them. The boy lies.
All right, 1 second. Busy.